celibacy and marriage, this is an issue that is confronting the world and especially the church. Whether our priests should be married or whether celibacy should continue to be imposed, especially in a context where today we are very short of priests and religious. Those of us who are married, certainly your primary vocation is to look after your family, your spouse, your children. That would be the first vocation because they need your care, they need your love. And then, of course, in serving them, in looking after your family, you are indirectly serving God because that is your vocation. But if your vocation is to be a priest, to be religious, the church is your primary vocation. The kingdom of God is what you are called to do. And that is why if priests are married, then there is a conflict in terms of trying to serve two masters. Already we know the challenges facing us. Even though we are single, we have hardly any time because the demands of the Roman Catholic priesthood, they are very great. Because we are supposed to be the father of the whole parish, the father of the family of God. And so many demands are made upon us. There's so many meetings to attend, so many people want to see us, and it can be very, very tiring. And so we can imagine if a priest were to be married, how could he give attention to his family, especially if his children are young, and at the same time, to devote himself to the work of God? It will be truly a great challenge. On the other hand, we have the other end of the spectrum that also advocate that it would be better for priests to be married because they are not married, they are not in touch with family life, they are not in touch with the world, they become very cold, indifferent, because they live a bachelor life in their own world, and so they lack touch with the sufferings, the challenges of those people who are married. And so the tension of devoting again oneself to the service of the kingdom, and on the other hand, the tension of living an exemplary life to be a good father, a good mother, where the children are also devoted to God. Whichever the case, there will be challenges. So it is not easy to say, therefore, that it is better to be married or better to be single. But I think it is important for us to recognize this. Celibacy is always considered a gift from the Lord. And because it is a gift, it has to be used as a gift, just like marriage itself is also a gift. And singlehood too is a gift. It all depends on what the Lord is calling us to do. But at the end of the day, whether we are married, whether we are single, whether we are priests, whether we are religious, it does not matter. What it matters at the end of the day is whatever we do, we must live our life for God and for our brothers and sisters. We need to learn to feel with people and feel for people. You can be a celibate. If a celibate person is not able to feel with people, then celibacy destroys the person. If you are a married person, you too are called to feel with others. It is only in our hunger, in our poverty, in our sorrow, in being misunderstood, that we can actually feel with others. And so true for celibacy. Celibacy, in my understanding, is also a life that is lived in poverty. It depends on God. We have to cling on to God. And it is a life of celibacy that helps a priest to be available, completely available to the sufferings of others. He is not preoccupied with his own sufferings, with his own needs. So celibacy actually helps a priest to feel for everyone, whether young person, whether the elderly, whether the poor, whether the sick. That is why in the celibate priesthood, we are called to identify with all those people who come to ask us for help, for prayer. And so this is why a celibacy is really, truly, it's a gift from the Lord. It is in detachment that we can also be truly available. It is attachment that prevents us from being open to our brothers and sisters, but not a detachment that makes us impersonal, make us hard-hearted. Not that kind of detachment. It's a detachment from ourselves so that we can be truly available for God's love.